Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Always exciting to jump into a new one.
Today we're doing something a little different.
Woo!
Yeah, we're diving deep into a single source this time.
Interesting. What kind of source?
It's a blog post, but it's not your average blog post. This one's deeply personal.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It was written by a man who's been living as a quadriplegic for the past 12 years.
Wow, so this deep dive is about resilience.
Absolutely. Adaptation too, and finding meaning in really, really challenging circumstances.
I can't wait to see what we can uncover.
Me too.
Oh.
So the author starts his post by marking the 12th anniversary of the accident that resulted in his quadriplegia.
12 years. That's a significant milestone.
Definitely. And he uses this anniversary as a chance to reflect on his journey. He shares a mix of personal triumphs and losses from the past year, giving us a glimpse into his daily life.
That's a great way to start. Personal experiences make it so much more relatable.
Exactly. And one of the first things he talks about is his son graduating high school. He's incredibly proud. You can really feel it in his writing.
I bet. What a huge accomplishment for his son.
Absolutely. And it's even more meaningful because the author himself didn't finish high school.
Really?
Yeah, he mentions that briefly. It really highlights how much he values education and how he's creating different opportunities for his son.
Breaking the cycle.
Exactly. But then the post takes a more somber turn.
What happened?
His service dog passed away.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
It is. He describes his dog with so much affection, even highlighting the dog's quirks and personality. You can tell how deep their bond was.
I can imagine. Losing a service animal must be incredibly difficult. They're not just pets, they're companions, helpers, friends.
Absolutely. And this loss is a poignant reminder that even amidst life's biggest challenges, those everyday joys and losses still have such a profound impact.
They do. But it sounds like there were some positive things happening this past year, too.
Oh, definitely. In fact, the author shares some really exciting news. He's having surgery soon that could potentially restore some hand function.
Wow, that's huge.
It is. He talks about the simple things we all take for granted, being able to pinch, grasp objects, maybe even pull up his own pants.
Things we don't even think about.
Right. And you can really feel the anticipation in his words, the hope for greater independence, for reclaiming a sense of control over his body.
That hope must be so powerful.
It is. And he also expresses immense relief about something else, finally healing a chronic pressure sore.
Oof. Pressure sores are no joke.
They're not. And his experience really underscores the reality of living with quadriplegia, where even seemingly small victories can feel monumental.
So true. It really shifts your perspective on what's important.
And that seems to be a recurring theme throughout his reflection. He goes on to talk about his evolving worldview, and he expresses some disillusionment with humanity.
Interesting. In what way?
He contrasts the lack of compassion and kindness he observes in the world with society's claims of civility and compassion.
So he sees a disconnect between what people say and how they actually behave.
Exactly. And it's not just an observation, it's a call to action. He pleads for more kindness, courtesy, helpfulness, simple acts that can make a world of difference.
Especially for those facing challenges.
Right. And his message is so powerful because it's coming from someone who understands firsthand the impact of both indifference and support.
You can't argue with that experience. What else stood out to you?
Well, what struck me is how he then shifts from this societal critique to a reflection on his own personal growth. He says that this journey, as difficult as it's been, has actually shaped him into a better person.
Now that's fascinating.
It is. There's a real sense of acceptance there, and even gratitude for the unexpected positive transformations he's experienced.
Absolutely. And he doesn't just say he's a better person, he gives specific examples. He describes himself as happier, more loving, more empathetic. It makes you wonder how experiencing such adversity can lead to positive change.
It's almost paradoxical, isn't it?
It is. But maybe it speaks to this idea that when we're stripped of things we once took for granted, we're forced to reevaluate what truly matters.
Our priorities shift.
Exactly. We start to appreciate the simpler things, the human connections, the moments of joy that might have passed us by before.
And maybe that shift in perspective, that deeper understanding of human vulnerability, opens us up to greater empathy and compassion, like what the author's calling for.
It's all connected. So what can we as listeners take away from this deep dive into one man's experience?
For me, it's a challenge to consider our own capacity for resilience and growth,
Yeah.
even in the face of unimaginable adversity.
It's inspiring, for sure.
It also reminds us that even the smallest acts of kindness can have a ripple effect, especially on someone who's struggling. And it compels us to ask ourselves, how can we cultivate more empathy and compassion in our own lives?
How can we contribute to making the world a bit more understanding and supportive?
Exactly. It's about recognizing that everyone is fighting a battle we might not know about. And a little kindness can go a long way.
It's about remembering that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit has this incredible ability to adapt, to find meaning, and to emerge stronger and more connected to what truly matters.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.